Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, who is most beneficent and most merciful. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Wishing you a very happy and healthy good morning. I'm here with lecture number 12 for 10th class students. And today we are going to discuss the remaining parts of our exercise of unit number 2 that are given on page number 22 and 23 of your textbook. After this discussion, our unit number 2 will be complete. I would suggest you first of all that open your textbooks on page number 22 and 23. Today's lectures topics are use of must and mustn't, use of present indefinite and present continuous tense, and then punctuation. In English B, today we will discuss English translation of paragraph number 4 and 5. Now see, this is given on page number of 21st of your textbook. You may see on page number 21st of your textbook this use of must and mustn't. They have told you that for strong obligation must is used, and for strong prohibition, when something is not allowed, when something is forbidden, when you have to tell someone that it is not necessary to do, then mustn't is used. For example, all cleaning must be finished before New Year's Day. Here there is a strong obligation, there is necessity, that's why we have used must. And mustn't is used as an opposite of must. When we have to say someone that it's not necessary to do, we used mustn't. For example, mother, you mustn't play with matches. This is given on page number 22, your part of exercise relevant to use of must or mustn't. For you have to fill these blanks with must or mustn't. But before filling these blanks, we must come to know that where we should must and where we should use mustn't. About the use of must, you have to keep in your mind that we use must in such type of sentences where we have to tell someone that they have to do what is very important, and they have to do what is very necessary, and they have to do what there is no choice, and they have to do it in a very good way. For example, I must sleep tonight. I have a test tomorrow, because if you have to take a test tomorrow, then you must have a good sleep. So it's very important. Like this, he must get a passport. Okay, he is going abroad. For going abroad, passport is very necessary. That's why in this sentence you will use must, not should. He must get a passport. He is going abroad. And another examples you may see, you must place all bags under your seat. It's very necessary to do it. I must be at work by 9 a.m. It's not an idea, it's very necessary to do it. And we use must in such type of sentences that are relevant to personal obligation, the tasks that are relevant to your own self. For example, I must stop smoking. It's bad for me because smoking is damaging, may damage anyone's health. So I must stop smoking, it's bad for me. It's relevant to your personal obligation. And I must call my mother more often. Now one thing I want to tell you that these opinions may be subjective or may be objective. Subjective means that it may be necessary according to the speaker's point of view. For example, you say that you must work hard if you want to get first position. It's your opinion. And sometimes opinion may be objective. It means that it may be rule, it may be law, that it's very necessary to do it and it's very important. There is no choice except doing it. I hope so that use of must is very clear to you, that you will use must in such type of sentences in which you have to tell someone that doing this is very important, doing this is very necessary, doing this is very compulsory because there is no choice. Now you will see that where we have to use must not or mustn't short form. You may speak like this. Must not expresses prohibition. Prohibition, something that is not permitted, that is not allowed. The prohibition can be subjective. Again, you may see the speaker's opinion are objective or real law or rule. Look at these examples. For example, I mustn't eat so much sugar. It is subjective. It's my opinion that I mustn't eat so much sugar. And you mustn't watch so much television. It's also subjective. It's my opinion. I'm telling. Now see, students must not leave bicycles here. Understand? It's an objective because it's a rule of any place that students must not leave bicycles here. It's not anyone's opinion. It's rule. It's law that no one can leave bicycles here. And policemen must not drink on duty. It's also objective. It's a rule. It's a real law that policemen must not drink on duty. So we use must not for such type of sentences in which we have to say that something is not allowed. Doing something is not allowed. Doing something is not permitted. Doing something is prohibition. So you will use mustn't or must not in such a type of sentences. Now you will try to understand this use of must and mustn't, and then by keeping in view you will solve your relevant exercise that is relevant to use of must and must not. Now these are the statements that are given in your textbook on page number 22 that you have to fill. First statement is she dash eats so much sugar. Now you have to decide according to the context of your sentence that what you should use here, mustn't or must. Now eating sugar so much is not a good thing. That's why you will say that she mustn't eat so much sugar. उसे इतनी ज़्यादा शुगर नहीं इस्तेमाल करनी चाहिए, नहीं खानी चाहिए. Students dash pass an entrance. Now entrance examination to study at this school. Now you know that it's necessary for students to pass an entrance examination to study at this school. It is showing certainty, it is showing necessity. That's why you will use here students must pass an entrance examination to study at this school. Third one is you dash watch so much television. Now you have to decide according to the sentence that what you should do here. Is it a good thing to watch so much television, or it should be forbidden to watch so much television because it's not a good thing for health. That's why it's very obvious for you that you should use here mustn't. You mustn't watch so much television. Fourth one statement is you dash take some medicine for that cough. Now it's very obvious that we are giving emphasis on a necessity, that it's necessary to take medicine for that cough. That's why we will use here must. He must take some medicine for that cough. Fifth one statement is visitors dash smoke. Now you have to decide that what you should use here, must or mustn't. Now smoking is not a good thing. It should be prohibited. It should be forbidden. That's why you will use here mustn't. Visitors mustn't smoke. I hope so that these answers are very clear to you and you have filled your blanks on your textbook side by side. Now see on page number 22 your next part of exercise that is relevant to present indefinite tense and present continuous tense. This activity is given as make the present indefinite or present continuous tense sentences. We have to fill the blanks either by present indefinite tense, either by present continuous tense. Before filling, you must come to know that in which type of sentences you use present indefinite tense and in which types of sentences you use present continuous tense. First, we are going to discuss that in which type of sentences we use present indefinite tense. You will listen to me very carefully. You will keep in your mind as a part of your knowledge, not just as a part of your lesson or exercise. See, in such type of sentences in which present habits are described, present indefinite tense is used. For example, he tells a lie, He always speaks truth. It's his habit that he tells a lie. Now you may see that you are using present indefinite tense. He tells a lie. Singular subject is there and there is addition of s with first form of verb. So in such type of sentences in which present habits are described, you use present indefinite tense. Likewise, universal facts. Universal facts means that wherever you are, these facts are true, not change, always remain same. For example, we say that the sun rises in the east. ठीक है, सूरज मशरिक से निकलता है. It's a universal fact. So in such type of the earth revolves around the sun. Here is also a universal fact. So you will use present indefinite tense in such type of sentences. For describing daily routine of any person, you will use present indefinite tense. For example, Ali goes to school daily. ठीक है, we sleep early. तो now you are telling your routine that we sleep early. हम जल्दी सोते हैं. Ali goes to school daily. Ali रोज स्कूल जाता है. So in such type of sentences in which you describe routine of any person, you use present indefinite tense. Some more important points are also, if you mention any custom, then you also use present indefinite tense. For example, you say that we decorate our home on each and every occasion. You are telling your custom कि आपके यहाँ ये रिवाज है कि आप अपना घर जो है वो सजाते हैं. Or you say that we entertain guests, कि आपके यहाँ एक ट्रेडिशन है, आपके यहाँ एक ये कस्टम है कि आप अपने जो मेहमान हैं उनको बहुत ज़्यादा एंटरटेन करते हैं. इसी तरह कुछ नेचुरल जो है वो फैक्ट्स होते हैं, उनके लिए भी जो है वो आप प्रेजेंट इंडेफिनिट टेंस यूज़ करेंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल आपसे कहते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल आप कहते हैं कि चिल्ड्रन ओबे देयर पेरेंट्स, बच्चे जो अपने वालिदैन की फरमाबरदारी करते हैं. इट्स अ नेचुरल थिंग. द डॉग्स बार्क, कुत्ते भौंकते हैं. इट्स आल्सो अ नेचुरल फैक्ट दैट ऐसा होता है. सो in all such type of sentences you use present indefinite tense for describing present habits, for describing present routine, for describing universal natural facts and customs or traditions, etc. Now you will keep all these points in your mind. Next we are going to discuss that in which type of sentences we will use present continuous tense, because by keeping these points in your mind you will solve your next part of exercise. In actions, for describing actions that are happening now, ठीक है, जो हो रहे हो मौजूदा वक्त में, for them you will use present continuous tense. For example, she is cooking in the kitchen. Right now she is doing this work. In such type of sentences you will use present continuous tense. For example, I may say that I am delivering my lecture. I will not say that I deliver my lecture. For work that I am doing at the moment, right now, I will use present continuous tense. I will not say that I deliver lecture. I will say that I am delivering lecture, ठीक है, because I am doing this work right now. And secondly, you will use present continuous tense for actions that are temporary. For example, they are staying in London for a few days, ठीक है. Now you may see that here their stay is temporary. So for such type of sentences you will use present continuous tense. And third one, you have to use present continuous tense for a definite future plans. For example, I am going hiking tomorrow, or I am going to see my parents tomorrow. For such definite future plans that you have decided, you will use present continuous tense. Now you have to keep in your mind the difference between the use of present indefinite tense and present continuous tense. These are the sentences that are given on your book. Make the present indefinite or present continuous tense sentences. First sentence is you dash like chocolates. Not is showing that we have to make a negative sentence. And now you may see that it is a sentence that is showing the habit. That's why we will fill this blank by the present indefinite tense. And as in present indefinite tense, two helping verbs are used, do and does. We will choose one helping verb according to the subject. With you, do is used. That's why you will write, you do not like chocolate. It is showing the habit of you that you do not like chocolate. Second sentence is she not study at the moment. Now this is an action that is happening right now. That's why you will fill this blank according to present continuous tense. and the not is showing that we have to make this sentence negative. That's why we will use helping verb according to she. Now we know that in present continuous tense three helping verbs are used: is, am and are, and with she you will use is. So you will fill the blank with is. And in present continuous tense fourth form of verb is used. Fourth form of verb means first form of verb with addition of ing. We may say it fourth form of verb. So this sentence will be she is not studying at the moment. As I told you that for the actions that will be happening at that moment we will use present continuous tense. They not eat rice every day. Now this sentence is showing a routine of some people. That's why you will use present indefinite tense here, but you have to make this sentence negative. That's why you will use helping verb according to they. There are two helping verbs in present indefinite tense, do and does. With they we will use helping verb do because it's a plural subject. So your sentence will be they do not eat rice every day. This sentence is showing habit of someone, a routine of some people. That's why you will fill this blank according to present indefinite tense. We not work now. Now we are not work now. Now we are talking about present moment. That's why you will fill this blank with present continuous tense, and you will use the helping verb according to your subject. We you will use helping verb are, and fourth form of verb will be used in this sentence. So your sentence will be we are not working now because it's about present moment. That's why you will use present continuous tense. It dash a lot here. Now we are talking about a routine. That क्या रूटीन है कि यहाँ पे बारिश की क्या रूटीन है, यहाँ पे बारिश बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. It is showing routine. So you will fill this blank according to present indefinite tense. As it is a singular subject, that's why there will be addition of s with first form of verb, and your sentence will be it rains a lot here. Last one sentence is I dash on holiday tomorrow. Now we are talking about future plan, a definite future plan. That, and I told you that for a definite future plan you will use present continuous tense. That's why your sentence will be I am going on holiday tomorrow. I am going on holiday tomorrow. Understand? I hope so that all these sentences are very clear to you and you are very clear about the use of present indefinite tense and present continuous tense. Again, I would suggest you that don't cram your lesson. You must make this use a part of your memory so that you may have a good knowledge, good English grammar knowledge by knowing all these things. Dear students, our next part and last part of this exercise is punctuation, and one paragraph of our lesson is given for punctuation. I always tell you before punctuation that which main rules you have to follow it. Always keep in your mind that very first letter of every sentence should be capital, and then if there is any proper noun in the middle of a sentence or at the end of a sentence, it should be its first letter should be capital. And third one, if there is a list of different things in a sentence, you must put commas between every word, and between last two you will write and. And fourth one, you have to close every sentence, you have to complete every sentence by putting a full stop at the end, and then new sentence again you will start with capital letter. And if there is any quotation or there are exact words of any speaker in your paragraph, you have to put those words in inverted commas. Now we will follow all these rules for punctuation. See, I have solved here your paragraph. Now see, very first letter of this paragraph should be capital. O should be capital. You may see that we have written capital O on the top of this word. On the eve of the Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is a proper noun. That's why we will write first letter of capital of all these three words. C of Chinese should be capital, and then N of new will be capital, and Y of year will be capital. Chinese New Year, because it is a proper noun. It is customary to visit relatives, partake in a large dinner. where a number of specific foods are served. Here our sentence is complete. That's why we will put a full stop here because the sentence is complete. Now next sentence we will start with capital letter. That's why I of it should be capital. It is typical for a Chinese family. Again proper noun is there. That's why you will write C capital of Chinese. Whenever you are going to write any nationality, you will write first letter capital. For example, you write Muslims, you will write M capital. If you write Hindus, you will write H capital. If you write English, you will write E capital. And now here we are writing Chinese. That's why we will write C capital of Chinese. Chinese family to make 8 to 9 dishes for the New Year's Eve. Again a proper noun is there. That's why you will write first letter capital of every word. New N capital, year Y capital, and then Eve E should be capital. Dinner, because in Chinese the word eight, now we are using this word as a specific word. That's why we will put it in inverted commas. In Chinese the word 8 means prosperity. You will write this word also inverted commas. And the word 9 would also be in inverted commas because we are using specifically this word. Means long lasting. Again long lasting you would also write in inverted commas because it is the exact meaning of these words, and by closing inverted commas and then you will put full stop at the end of this sentence. Now my dear students, in English B we are going to discuss English translation of our paragraph number 4 and 5. First, I always say you that you must prepare the English for difficult words, then you will be able to be a good translator. So I'm showing you some words that you must prepare before translation of your paragraph number 4 and 5. You may see these words. Run out means khatam ho jana, more means mazid, reserves means khair ya zakhire, how far किस हद तक, need of the hour ज़रूरत इस बात की है, ज़रूरत इस अमर की है, cut short means again कम करना, कंजप्शन मीन्स होता है खपत खर्च, मिनिमाइज्ड कम करना, एनी हाउ अलबत्ता, प्राइवेट मीन्स निजी या ज़ाती, लेसेंट मीन्स कम करना, इम्पोर्ट मीन्स दरामद करना. And in paragraph number 5 is very easy, very simple sentences and simple words are used in this paragraph. Just I have found some words that they may be need to prepare. Able mean काबिल, सबसे बढ़ के, most of all सबसे ज़्यादा, जो कुछ भी whatever. Very soon means foreign. All these words you should prepare paragraph. Now you may see that paragraph number 4 is given here. डर है कि चंद साल बाद दुनिया का तेल ख़त्म हो जाएगा. हर मुल्क ये कोशिश कर रहा है कि तेल के मज़ीद ज़ख़ीरे दरियाफ़्त करे. मालूम नहीं कि ये कोशिश किस हद तक कामयाब होगी. ज़रूरत इस बात की है कि हम अपनी तेल की ज़रूरियात को कम करें. सनत व ज़राअत में तेल की खपत को कम नहीं किया जा सकता, अलबत्ता निजी ज़रूरतों को कम किया जा सकता है. हमें चाहिए कि बाहर से कारों की जगह बसें दरामद करें ताकि तालिब इल्मों के लिए बसों की सहूलत को बेहतर बनाया जा सके. Now you may see that different types of sentences are in this paragraph. You will take every sentence one by one, and then you will see that which tense you have to use in this sentence, and then you will translate that sentence. For example, the first word is dar hai. It is showing present tense. Simple use of is here. There is fear. कि चंद साल बाद दुनिया का तेल खत्म हो जाएगा. It is showing future indefinite tense. So you will apply here future indefinite tense rules. There is fear that oil of the world will run out after a few years. हर मुल्क ये कोशिश कर रहा है. This part is in present continuous tense. That's why translation will be every country is trying. क्या कोशिश कर रहा है कि तेल के मज़ीद ज़ख़ीरे दरियाफ़्त करे to discover more reserves of oil. Every country is trying to discover more reserves of oil. मालूम नहीं कि कोशिश किस हद तक कामयाब होगी. इट इज़ मालूम नहीं है का मतलब कि ट्रांसलेशन आप करेंगे इट इज़ नॉट नाउन, कि ये कोशिश किस हद तक कामयाब होगी. हाउ फार किस हद तक. दिस स्ट्रगल विल सक्सीड. फ्यूचर इंडेफिनिट टेंस इज हियर. नाउ द कंप्लीट ट्रांसलेशन ऑफ दिस सेंटेंस विल बी इट इज़ नॉट नोन हाउ फार दिस स्ट्रगल विल सक्सीड. ज़रूरत इस बात की है, अगेन यूज ऑफ इज हेयर. द नीड ऑफ द और इज कि हम अपनी तेल की ज़रूरियात को कम करें. टू कट शॉर्ट और ऑयल रिक्वायरमेंट्स. रिक्वायरमेंट्स मीन्स होता है ज़रूरियात. ऑयल रिक्वायरमेंट्स तेल की ज़रूरियात. कट शॉर्ट मीन्स कम करें. सनत व ज़राअत में तेल की खपत को कम नहीं किया जा सकता. इट इज़ शोइंग पॉसिबिलिटी दैट विच इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल. ठीक है. द कंजम्पशन ऑफ ऑयल इन इंडस्ट्री एंड एग्रीकल्चर. इंडस्ट्री मीन्स सनत, एग्रीकल्चर मीन्स ज़राअत, कंजम्पशन मीन्स खपत. द ट्रांसलेशन ऑफ दिस फ्रेज विल बी द कंजम्पशन ऑफ ऑयल इन इंडस्ट्री एंड एग्रीकल्चर. कि सनत व ज़राअत में तेल की खपत कम नहीं किया जा सकता. फॉर शोइंग पॉसिबिलिटी that thing is not possible. In present tense we will use can be. So the translation will be the consumption of oil in industry and agriculture cannot be minimized. Here we have used another word for kam karna, minimize. Cut short means भी होता है कम करना and minimize means भी क्या होता है कम करना. Because for one Urdu word there are different English words. For a standardized writing we always use different words for a same word of Urdu. अलबत्ता निजी ज़रूरतों को कम किया जा सकता है. किस चीज़ की पॉसिबिलिटी है कि हम अपनी निजी ज़रूरत, क्या चीज़ जो है वो मुमकिन है कि हम अपनी ज़ाती ज़रूरतों को कम कर सकते हैं. सो यू विल यूज़ हियर अगेन कैन. एनी हाउ प्राइवेट नीड्स कैन बी लेसन्ड. के ज़ाती ज़रूरियात को कम किया जा सकता है या निजी ज़रूरियात को कम किया जा सकता है. हमें चाहिए कि बाहर से कारों की जगह बसें दरामद करें. नाउ यू वी विल यूज़ शुड. वी शुड इम्पोर्ट बसेस इन प्लेस ऑफ कार्स. क्यों? ताकि तालिब इल्मों के लिए बसों की सहूलत को बेहतर बनाया जा सके. अगेन देयर इज पॉसिबिलिटी एंड वी विल यूज हियर मे. वी शुड इम्पोर्ट बसेस इन प्लेस ऑफ कार्स सो दैट द फैसिलिटी ऑफ बसेस मे बी इम्प्रूव्ड फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स. Like this you will take every sentence separately and then you will identify the tense of each and every sentence and then you will translate every sentence into good English. Now you may see your paragraph number 5 on screen. It's really very easy paragraph, very short sentences are here and you will translate them very easily. Present indefinite tense in most of sentences is used. For example, you may see very first sentence is मैं 10वीं जमात में पढ़ता हूँ. I read in the 10th class. जिस स्कूल में मैं पढ़ता हूँ. Again present indefinite tense, the school where I study. वो शहर का एक मशहूर स्कूल है. Is will be used here. Is a famous school in the city. So complete translation will be the school where I study is the famous school in the city. मेरी जमात को 4 उस्ताद पढ़ाते हैं. Again present indefinite tense, plural subject is here. That's why you will use just first form of verb. 4 teachers teach my class. वो सब के सब काबिल हैं. Are is will be used in this sentence. Simple sentences. This is they are all able. लेकिन मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा मिस्टर जैद पसंद हैं या मैं सबसे ज़्यादा मिस्टर जैद को पसंद करता हूँ. प्रेजेंट इंडेफिनिट टेंस अगेन. बट आई लाइक मिस्टर जैद मोस्ट ऑफ ऑल. वो हमें अंग्रेजी और हिसाब पढ़ाते हैं. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट वन पर्सन, मिस्टर जैद. दैट्स व्हाई इट्स सिंगुलर सब्जेक्ट. यू विल यूज सिंपल फर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब एंड विद एडिशन ऑफ ES. ही टीचेज अस इंग्लिश एंड मैथमेटिक्स. उनका पढ़ाने का तरीका इतना अच्छा है. ट्रांसलेट हियर. हिज मेथड ऑफ टीचिंग इज सो गुड कि जो कुछ वो पढ़ाते हैं फ़ौरन याद हो जाता है या हम फ़ौरन याद कर लेते हैं. सेम sentences are these. That's why you will translate like this, that we learn very soon whatever he teaches us. Now you may see that present tense is used in the complete sentence. His method of teaching is so good that we learn very soon whatever he teaches us. इसीलिए उनकी जमात का नतीजा 100% होता है या इसीलिए उनकी जमात 100% नतीजा दिखाती है. Both sentences are same. Again you will use here present indefinite tense. That is why his class shows 100% result. Because his class is singular subject, that's why we have added S with first form of verb show. That's why his class shows 100% result. I hope so that you have found this paragraph very easy. Now your home task is that you have to prepare exercise of unit number 2 fully, and then you will prepare your English translation of paragraph number 4 and 5 by learning its vocabulary and by revising all tenses that are used in these 2 paragraphs. Students, thank you all of you, and Allah Hafiz. Take good care of you.